Two men who carried out the public execution of a dad of two were today found guilty of murder. The Crown Prosecution Service said that Rueben Murphy and Ben Doyle worked together to kill Patrick Boyle outside a house in Huyton on Thursday, July the 1st last year. Murphy, who's 26 years old, was the masked gunman who pulled the trigger on the semi-automatic pistol that fired 2 bullets into Patrick Boyle's chest at around 6 p.m. His accomplice Doyle worked with Murphy to facilitate the killing from his home in Huyton where the attack was launched from. Doyle was with Murphy in the build-up to the attack, assisting him beforehand, taking him to very close to the scene and regrouping with him in the aftermath. CCTV mobile phone evidence, eyewitness accounts and scientific evidence showed the movements of Doyle and Murphy in the lead up to the shooting. DNA evidence and a casing from a bullet found outside the house were also crucial to the prosecution's case. Murphy had been seen to have an altercation with one of Patrick Boyle's associates earlier that day and had run off, pursued by a man on a bike. Later in the day, Ben Doyle was seen coming out of his house on an electric bike with a package. He collected Murphy, who jumped onto the back of the bike. At some point Doyle got off, but Murphy continued where he fatally shot Patrick Boyle. Mr Boyle staggered to a house on the road and was taken by a friend to hospital. His friend was spoken to by police officers at the hospital as it was clear that Mr Boyle had been seriously wounded. Doctors tried to save his life, but he was confirmed dead shortly afterwards. Doyle and Murphy were later arrested and charged with joint enterprise murder. They denied the charges, but today a jury has found them guilty. They were also found guilty of possessing firearm with intent to endanger life and possessing ammunition with intent to endanger life. There was a third man, Thomas Walker. He pleaded guilty to possession of ammunition. His DNA had been found on a bullet casing recovered at the scene of the shooting. So the senior Crown Prosecutor Maria Kaur of CPS Mersey Cheshire Complex Casework Unit said the killing of Patrick Boyle was in every sense a public execution. The masked gunman who pumped 2 bullets into Mr Boyle's chest in a deliberate and ruthless attack was Rueben Murphy. He showed his victim no mercy and Mr Boyle stood no chance. Rueben Murphy may have pulled the trigger, but he was not alone in this enterprise. Ben Doyle was also complicit in this murder. So the self-confessed drug dealer, Murphy, said at the time Mr Boyle was gunned down that he was in a back garden in another part of Huyton, off his head on Kent. He said, "I might have sold drugs in the past, but I'm not a killer." However, on the other hand, his mate Ben Doyle claimed that the murder was committed by a mystery man who he refused to name because he feared retribution and wasn't a snitch. And as I said, they've both been found guilty of that murder. So I just want to say rest in peace, Mr Boyle, and my condolences go out to your family. So guys, that's the news coming up from the north. Let me know what you guys think. It's your boy GC. Keep it locked, keep it real.